The next few topics will help you tremendously. We'll talk about the 3 profitability drivers, giving you the keys to your business success. So now that you've decided you're up for the challenge of creating a profitable business, let's give you clarity and a path forward. Let's identify the 3 main factors that impact business profitability. If you want to follow along or write down any key items that might pop up as we go through this topic, please make sure to check out the attached Profitability Drivers worksheet. Now, at the end of the day, or business year, profitability really comes down to an equation. Sales minus cost equals profit. Again, this isn't groundbreaking, but I'll say it again if you want to write it down in your notes. Sales minus cost equals profits. If we break this equation down a bit further, we can get our 3 profitability drivers. Breaking apart sales, we get product price times transaction volume equals sales. And then sales minus cost equals profits. Within this expanded formula, we get our 3 profitability drivers. These are the levers that you can pull in your business to improve profits. They are price, cost, and sales volume. These 3 drivers come together to give you the financial results you've experienced so far in your business, and they are what you can change to improve things going forward. So let's dive into these very important profitability drivers in a bit more detail. The first profitability driver is pricing changes. In other words, what are you selling your products or services for? What is the price that you're charging? And of course, can you increase your rates? Price is a major influencer on the overall profitability and has the most direct link to improving your net income. Pricing changes are so effective for profitability because they are one of the fastest changes that you can make. Pricing changes generally have very little implementation costs, meaning that the biggest impact you're going to see is to your bottom line. Make sure you are maximizing your pricing by asking yourself if you're charging enough and making changes if you aren't. I have personally struggled with pricing over the years. I started off with really low prices compared to my competitors, and I did have to raise my rates over time. This was uncomfortable for myself and my clients, but it was really important for my profitability. Raising prices is a hard action to take, but it's a very important profitability driver, and is one of the first things you want to be considering if you're struggling with profitability. The second profitability driver is controlling and minimizing costs. Consider how much you are spending to create your sales and run your business. Managing costs and reducing how much money is flowing out of your business is the second most effective way to improve profits. Expenses tend to grow to the level of available cash, and if you have a line of credit or business loan, you can quickly burn through a lot of money without a lot of thought. Regularly checking in with your spending and asking yourself what you can cut and what you don't need is an important profitability factor. Expenses add up quickly, and taking time to review your spending can save you significantly over time. Now, I recently went through this with my software bill. I realized I had 8 user subscriptions with only 6 team members. Canceling the unnecessary subscriptions was an easy way for me to cut my costs. Many business owners get caught in the trap of overspending. So take a hard look at your bank and credit card statement and see what can be reduced. Canceling your unneeded expenses can not only improve profits today, but can also compound substantially and increase your profits over time. And finally, the third profitability driver is improving sales volume. This is all about how much you are selling. How big is your customer base? How many sales do you make every year? How many products do you sell? Identifying sales triggers and increasing the total volume of transactions you complete is the third most effective way to increase profits. But notice that boosting sales is the third most effective way. Growth can absolutely be good, but only if it's done in a profitable way. If you are currently unprofitable and you decide to add a second location, you are more likely to double your losses than you are to improve your business's financial performance. I've seen this happen time and time again with clients. When you are working on improving sales, make sure any avenues you take are priced right and cost effective. Your goal should be to improve sales and profits, not just sales. Now, these three profitability drivers are the biggest factors underlying your profitability or lack of it. Price, cost control, and sales volume are key business components that every business owner should carefully manage on an ongoing basis. Now, to use these profitability drivers effectively, you need to keep an open mind. When I propose profitability driver changes to clients, I hear all the time, I can't. Can't is why you may not be profitable. So let's leave can't at the door and start looking for solutions in these three areas. Because price, cost control, and sales volume are your keys to business financial success. Profitability drivers are the levers you need to be pulling to achieve better profits in your business. Now, these three profitability drivers are my favorite business topic because they are so simple yet so profound. Now, you might be a bit skeptical. I'm making some pretty big claims here. So to prove the point, let's go through an example. Let's say you sell 300 custom lawn chairs for $1,000 each. Your total sales are $300,000. Next, we need to consider direct costs like wood, glue, nails, and paint. If each chair costs $500 to produce, we multiply this by 300 chairs under production to get $150,000 in direct costs. Now, if we stop here, you might think you're making money. After all, $150,000 of gross profit, or 50% spread, is pretty good profit margin. But before we can pat ourselves on the back, we have to remember our operating expenses. Operating costs include things like advertising, office supplies, insurance, bookkeeping fees, and administration wages. These costs can quickly get out of control and may swallow up any profits. For example, let's say your operating costs are around $175,000 per year. Our remaining profit has actually resulted in a business loss of $25,000. This sucks, and it means your business is sustaining itself off of loans or money out of your own pocket. This is a scary situation and unfortunately very common for new business owners. If you have business losses for too many years in a row, you may be looking at bankruptcy or at the very least, closing down your business. So now that we know how uncomfortable financial losses can be, which lever should you choose to pull first? Profitability, where to start? What are the best ways to fix your profitability woes? What part of the equation should you tackle first? Price, cost, or sales volume? What is the fastest way to become profitable and earn more money? Now, as we've all experienced, most will champion sales volume and want you to increase the number of products you sell or customers you've obtained. But is this really the best approach? Well, up on the screen, I've shown an impact of a 20% change in each of our three profitability drivers. Our first column is our original example with our $25,000 loss. The second column shows a 20% increase in price with no change in the number of chairs sold. We're now selling each chair for $1,200 rather than our original price of $1,000. The next column shows a 20% decrease in our operating costs without any change in the number of chairs we sell. The final column shows a 20% increase in sales volume. We're now selling 360 chairs rather than 300. The end profit numbers are displayed along the bottom, and as you can see, the results are pretty clear. Increasing price and decreasing costs are the two best ways to improve profitability. Our 20% price increase has resulted in a 240% increase in profitability. Our 20% cost decrease resulted in a 140% improvement, and our 20% sales volume increase resulted in the smallest jump at 120%. What this all means is that sales volume increases just don't have the same impact. And in my opinion, they're also the hardest to achieve. Price increases followed by cost controls are the two best ways to improve your profitability. They are also the fastest to implement and the ones you have the most control over. You can decide today to increase your prices and start making changes to your business right after our chat. You can go through your bank and credit card statements and see what costs you can cut. These are improvements you can implement right away. In contrast, convincing more customers to buy your products often involves increased spending on advertising or significant time investment in your sales and marketing strategies. It is also dependent on an outside individual, your customer, and their buying decisions, In other words, it takes time to increase sales volumes. Continually going after growth and trying to boost sales volumes without first optimizing your prices and cutting costs isn't a winning strategy. Instead, you want to focus on the most controllable factors first, and I'm going to give you some tips to consider. Pricing tips. Let's start with price. A great starting point is to consider what your competitors are charging and then go with your gut based on your company's added value. Now, yes, I'm serious. Go with your gut. Price is part science and part art. Don't get caught too far in the details. Just start bumping things up. According to pricingsolutions.com, even a small 1% increase in price can improve profits by almost 12.5%. Price is a very powerful profitability lever. With the rate of inflation in our society, customers are accustomed to changes in price, so don't be afraid to explore this option. It's an important one to help ensure your business has staying power. Another pricing solution is to monetize something you were not previously charging for. Let's say you used to provide free delivery when selling your custom lawn chairs. Instead, charge for delivery. Small business owners tend to pack everything together into their product or service. In our lawn chair example, your business may be providing free custom color choices, free delivery, free installation, and free returns. All these things are value added, which either warrants a much higher price or should be billed separately as add-ons. And finally, our third pricing tip is to change your pricing method. Perhaps you are currently charging an hourly rate. Should you move towards job quotes or restaurant-style menu pricing? Let's go through an example. Let's say you are building a shed and have an hourly rate of $50 per hour. Now maybe you are a very experienced and competent carpenter. Maybe the shed only takes 10 hours for you to build. You end up charging your customer $500. But what if your competitors regularly bill $1,500 for the same shed? Quoting jobs based on market prices rather than just hourly rates can have a big benefit to your business. Now, as a business owner, you are no longer an employee, so why are you still collecting an hourly wage? Consider if quoting on a job-by-job basis would be more beneficial rather than charging hourly. Okay, those are 3 different pricing tips that you can consider. Next, let's talk about costs. Cost reduction tips. The number one cost for most businesses is labor. Managing employees as a business owner is hard, and there are a ton of inefficiencies out there. One significant way to improve your profits is finding out why you are not efficient. Have you considered that you might be overstaffed in the labor department? Having too many people leads to a ton of extra water cooler conversations and added work in terms of administration and management time. What if you had a smaller team but made them more efficient? Ask yourself if you need to improve the performance and drive of your employees. Can you build up a little more hustle in your people? The best managers have high expectations and don't coddle their team. Expect more. Your team should wow you regularly. So after giving your labor considerations some serious thought, you want to cut some unneeded overhead. In addition to my software subscription, I recently went through my phone bill and realized I had 4 phone lines that I was paying for each month. Now, I only have 1 receptionist. I don't need 4 phone lines. I was able to call my telephone provider and reduce my monthly charges. Not only did this improve my profits now, but it also helped compound for better profitability over the year. Pruning your expenses regularly helps manage the creep of costs. Don't be afraid to do this. It's important. Now, the best cost-cutting tip is to say no a lot. You will be inundated with good ideas, helpful salespeople, flashy magazines, and fantastically new software tools that every business owner needs. Don't rush to say yes. Really consider if this is something you need for your business, and if you don't need it, just say no. Now, as we saw from our example, increasing price and reducing costs are the 2 best ways to improve profitability. Increasing sales volume is a bit more complex. Sales volume warning. The first thing most of us think about when boosting sales volume is to have a promotion. Maybe you decide to offer your customers a 10% discount over a long weekend to celebrate a holiday. Things like product discounts can be amazing for your sales volume, but they can be catastrophic for your profitability. Although a 1% increase in price can boost profitability by 12.5%, a 1% decrease in price can also decrease profitability by 12.5%. If you discount your price and end up selling more, you might work your butt off and earn less money. If you are going to boost sales volume, make sure you address the two other profitability drivers first. Try and avoid boosting sales through product discounts. Instead, boost sales through things like online reviews or asking your current customers for referrals. Find alternative options than product discounts. Now that we've thoroughly discussed each profitability driver, take some time to complete the attached worksheet and ponder different solutions to these three areas of business success. See what ideas have percolated during our chat and can lead you to better profitability. Keep in mind that implementing these ideas is key to your profitability over time. If your great ideas just sit there and don't get implemented, they can't help you succeed. So carve out some time to improve your business and make changes.